Hi guys, welcome to a quick test and tune video on the vlogging setup that we've been using lately. Now I wanted to make this video because there's a lot of information out there that really complicates what people need when they're choosing their camera gear to start vlogging. Now the two things I just want to touch on, it's really important to make sure that you get a camera that can frame what you're trying to film efficiently, quickly, and at arm's length, because obviously that's where most people use their vlogging cameras. And secondly, something that you can capture great audio with. Audio is pretty simple and you can normally get away with it using an external mic. The shotgun mics are brilliant, but the reason I'm going to do this video on this mic is it's one of the cheapest out there and it gets audio that's 99% as good as something that's powered and twice the size. So this setup, it is a Hero 8 on a cheap $10 or $15 pole, which does extend, the Hero 8 mic adapter, which I actually had from my Hero 5, and the Boya mini shotgun microphone. Oh, sorry, and as well as the bar mount as well. Now the reason I've gone for that bar mount, it makes it relatively easy to switch the mic around like that. So you can go from go from the audio source being in front to behind the camera very quickly. The other reason these shotgun mics work so well, they're very focused, so they won't pick up audio from beside them, which is really important if you're filming near trees or the beach, that sort of thing. You can direct the mic at the audio source and you'll get a nice clear audio. Now the other thing I'm going to touch on in this video quickly, I'm going to try and keep this really short. I want to compare it to my GH4. Now I bought that GH4 for vlogging footage 3 or 4 years ago, and I want to show you how good the Hero 8s are, considering they're a fraction of the cost and a hell of a lot easier to use. It's something that's really important with vlog style cameras. When we've used them, you don't want to be thinking overly about what's going on with the camera. You want to just grab it quickly, capture what you're trying to capture, and move on to the next scene of our videos. Where when I was using the GH4, you often had to check the focus settings, check the stabilization settings, and then you had to really concentrate on holding the camera still enough. Where with this GoPro, it's just a click on to start recording. You know that because the field of view is so wide, it nearly always gets in frame what you need, and the stabilization is cheating. These are so good. All right, let's get into some test footage and I'll show you why these work so well. Okay, you can tell I'm in vlogging mode because I've got sunglasses on inside. The reason, in case people are wondering, the reason a lot of vloggers use sunglasses all the time, it allows the audience to think or assume that the person on film is always looking directly at the camera. It's really, I find it quite annoying if I'm watching someone vlogging and they're looking somewhere else, or even just looking at the screen on their setup. When you don't have that eye-to-eye contact, it's almost a bit rude, where as soon as you put the glasses on, I can look over here, and the idea is that the audience doesn't realize I'm not directly looking at them. Anyway, so before we get into some test footage, I'm going to go and do outside and show you how well this works when you're walking near trees, in the wind, etc. I'll just share how it all goes together, and I wanted to touch on a few reasons why I've used these parts. Now I'll try and overlay this footage, but basically I've used the bar mount to hold the microphone. Now there are other ways to do that, and I guess that you can actually buy frames for the GoPros that hold the GoPro and then they've got cold shoes on them that everything will click into. They're sort of, I guess you can get them for between sort of $20 to $40, and they are good, but they only have one use case, where by using this type of bar mount, which from memory was around $15, I can use it for this type of setup, or I can actually use it to mount a GoPro or another camera or another microphone on any pole, which it just gives you an opportunity to use this hardware in a number of situations instead of specifically only being able to use it for vlogging. So I use the bar mount to hold the microphone. Another huge bonus of that, instead of like a cold shoe, it allows me to quickly flick between forwards and rear facing microphone. So when you switch between the camera looking at yourself and then the camera looking elsewhere, I don't know if you can hear that difference, but the audio drops right down. Now with this type of bar mount, I can loosen it off slightly and spin the mic really quick, and then I've got audio facing the way I need it. So that's a huge bonus of using this type of bar mount. I'll switch it around again. And I've got the audio facing me. Now the other thing I've done with this, I've used a cheap selfie stick pole. This pole is telescopic. It'll extend to about 1 meter. Again, it was under $20. I think it was around 15 from memory. I can mount a GoPro or any other camera to it. So again, it gives me a wider use case for this particular product. It also has a tripod mount on the bottom of it, so I can actually mount this to another tripod. And again, it just widens the use, widens what I can use this gear for, instead of it specifically only having one use. And lastly, the GoPro and microphone adapter. Now, they're the two most expensive parts of this setup. The GoPro, it's hands down worth every single cent. You'll see in a second the quality that you get from it. And all the different shooting modes. It lets you do time-lapse. The battery life's amazing. You can switch between linear, wide angle. They're really amazing cameras, and the picture quality is getting pretty close to an SLR. The only thing you don't get with a GoPro is the bokeh effect, but I think for most people who are daily vlogging, it's not too important. And the downside with cameras that will produce the bokeh, they won't always be perfectly focused. So if the focusing is off, and you'll see it in a lot of vloggers, they'll pan the camera around to them and the camera hasn't managed to focus on their face. So they'll end up being blurry for 3 or 4 seconds. And I think that's a bit of a negative. I'd rather have a more, a wider field of view and just be in focus straight away, which the GoPro does brilliantly. Lastly, the mic adapter for the GoPro. It is a must with any of the 5 onwards. They're quite expensive. They're around the $80 or $90 Australian. But it's the only way to get audio into the GoPro. It is quite expensive, but money well spent. It'll last forever and you will get some more use out of it. So that's the kit all together and assembled into what you see me holding now. Let's go outside and give it a bit of a test. So I'm just outside our offices here. I'm not paying a lot of attention to exactly what the GoPro is pointing at. I don't have a screen to see, but because the field of view is so wide, it normally works pretty well. I'm within a couple of meters of some trees that are in the wind. And obviously if I point the mic at them, you will hear them rustling. It's also quite a windy day. So if I didn't have the dead cat on the mic, it would definitely be experiencing wind noise. The mic in the GoPro, even though the Hero 8 has got much more advanced audio processing, it still picks up a hell of a lot of wind noise. Where when you have these the dead cats on them, they're sweet. Wind's not a problem. We've actually filmed in really heavy wind conditions, and even these small cheap microphones, they're normally good at eliminating all the wind noise. And I'm just walking down the side of the building. Again, the wind sort of picks up through this channel, and I'm actually about 30 meters away from a highway. So you can see there with this microphone, and I won't process this footage, but with this microphone, not only do we get stabilized footage, don't forget I'm walking, I'm holding this with my fingertips, not really thinking about the footage, and we're next to a highway, and 9 times out of 10, actually that's not right, every single time we've used this camera, the footage is usable. The audio's good and the video's not too rough. So that gives you an idea on what it's like. Let's hop back inside and I'll summarize. So yeah, I hope you get an idea of the quality that you can get out of the GoPro. And again, just touching on what I said at the start, this setup's ability to just be a set and forget and always get the right footage is just, it's like nothing else I've ever used. I will put links to all of these products in the description if you want to get these exact ones. It's by far the cheapest setup I've seen for getting quality vlogging footage done. And I have got one of the GoPro media mounts on back order or pre-order. They're not out yet, and I will be testing how that compares to this setup. Obviously, having a much smaller inbuilt shotgun mic is a nicer form factor, but will it be comparable to having the big dead cat, fluffy dead cat here, which is just an absolute wind noise killer. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, give us a like. If you've got any questions or if you've got any tips on your current setup, any advice, let me know. I know these all come across a bit scattered and they're always a really quick put together video for our second channel. But if you have any questions, let me know below and I might be of help. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. So that's locked in there, and then just a matter of connecting the two. Now, with the GoPros, you do need to remove the side case. And I just wrap that around and into the mic mount. And that is the setup right there. Okay, let's go and do some tests and I'll show you how this compares to the $3,000 setup.